Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 2 of Chats with Sweetie.
Chats with Sweetie.
Starring Belen, my beautiful wife, an entrepreneurial woman.
Wow.
Manager to the stars, because she just manages my life. I'm not a star, but you know.
I was just going to say what star am I
have to fluff it. Jesus Christ. And with me, Alejandro, the guy from YouTube that only talks about cars. Hey.
Well, I do manage Fiona.
That is true.
And she was featured on Elle magazine.
That is true. So, Sweetie, today we have a big podcast. The first episode had such a good reception. Everybody just left amazing comments, and thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it. I feel like you feel really good about this. How do you feel about it?
I do. It was exciting. I went into it trying not to think about it because I didn't want to be like disappointed or have my feelings hurt.
Yeah.
Because I'm very sensitive. And it felt really good that people actually enjoyed it and found it relatable
Yep.
and interesting.
Yeah.
So I was really excited to do episode 2.
Episode numero dos.
See.
Well, I'm glad we're doing it too. And now that we have some consistency since Sergio's back from COVID.
Yay, he survived.
Sergio made it. Everyone. Thank God, Sergio.
I don't think they know that.
Thank good. No, oh yeah. In English, we never announced that Sergio had it.
Well,
That's why. So we interrupted all of our shit because only the podcast really. Because Sergio had COVID, and we were like, we just don't want to be in a room with Sergio right now.
It's true.
Even though we love you, Sergio.
True.
We don't love COVID. So listen, today we're going to talk about moving because Belen and I are moving. We're not going to say anything more until we get to it right now.
True.
We're also going to talk about the biggest things that you can't stand about me and that I can't stand about you. And we'll debate whether you need to accept someone or change them.
Yes.
And trust me, the answer for her will be change me. And then then Belen's gonna help us, and we're gonna give you some stories on Christmas holiday shopping for your loved ones and what not to do and how
Do's
I do
and
it.
don'ts.
I'm gonna tell you how I do it, and then Belen's gonna tell you how she thinks I do it, and then I'll tell you what I think she's doing, which obviously whatever she's doing is the wrong thing. So let's start from the beginning, sweetie. Number 1, how was your week? How's it going?
Well, I'm with you every single day. So I don't know if it's fair for you to ask me how my week was, but my day was good.
Okay.
It started at 7 a.m. and I thought there was a tsunami happening in the kitchen. So I had to deal with a couple fires in the house.
Why? What was it?
I don't know. I think it was the water tank.
So what happened
the water
exactly?
heater.
Can you please?
Okay.
Because let me tell you this. Hang on, sweetie. Hang on. You're not gonna tell the juicy stuff. I will.
I mean, it's really not that
It's
juicy.
early in the morning. I wake up. I'm waiting. Like any other husband
you know what?
in bed for my breakfast.
Let me stop him right there. He gets a green juice and a coffee every single day in bed. I've been doing this for him for almost 13 years.
Thank you, baby. I
It's
appreciate
definitely
it.
not normal.
So now this normal thing that every wife does for their husband, I'm waiting for this to happen at the house. And then Belen shows up a little late. And I'm like, what's going on? You know, I get upset. Like, I need my green juice right now. And she walks in and she's like, can you come with me? I'm like, oh.
You're a liar.
It's 8.
I handled everything. First of all, I never said come to the kitchen. Let me backtrack. I went into the kitchen. I heard a lot of water. It sounded like there was literally a faucet on. I went to the garage where the water tank is.
Yeah.
And I went to the kitchen. There was no water coming out of the kitchen sink. So I did the responsible thing and obviously text message our handyman.
Okay.
He wouldn't know what to do.
By the way, I'm an expert in real estate. Everybody knows that. It's just real estate has nothing to do with fixing it. You know, you can be an expert in cars and not know how to fix them. I can be an expert in real estate.
You definitely would not have known what to do. So he told me to turn off the valve and to disconnect the electrical wire, and most likely a pipe exploded underneath the bed.
Most likely, sweetie.
I don't know why I said bed. Underneath the house.
Yeah.
So I did all that, and then I delivered your breakfast, and I said, by the way, this is what's going on. I've already handled it. There's no hot water, but when you want to take a shower, I will turn it back on for you. That is what I said.
And let me ask you this. Have I showered?
No, because
exactly.
You love he loves a Portuguese shower, and he left.
Whoa. Why are you insulting Portuguese people
That's
from
what you call
the
it.
get-go? Portuguese people are not dirty people that pretend to shower, babe. I call that Portuguese shower a Portuguese shower because no one understands it. You don't really have to shower every day. There's some days that you're like, listen, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to apply more deodorant.
Yeah.
Apply my creams and my moisturizers.
And hope that I don't realize that you smell.
Hang on. Change your underwear
Oh,
Throw
thank
some
God.
throw some water in your head, in your face, and then go to bed. And then the next day you'll shower. That's a Portuguese shower. It's an in-between a shower. I don't understand what is the problem with this.
You're taking a shower when we get home. That's all I know.
It can be a Portuguese shower. I showered yesterday at
Oh
night.
my God.
This is what I'm saying, guys. I can't believe I'm discussing this in front of everyone. Everybody does this. And if not, they're
Anyways,
pretending.
So I handled that.
Thank you.
Then I had 50 other things I had to deal with this morning. Just Monday stuff, like
No, we had a billion things to do with the house, with the
Yes,
moving,
with
because
the
we're getting a
moving.
new house. Yeah.
there was a lot going on. I was in my gym clothes at 8 a.m. and I still haven't worked out. I just put sweatpants on to come to this. But it was a good day. But when there's positives, there's sometimes chaos.
Yeah.
And I literally just started laughing because I said to him this morning, I said, we got these great news this morning, but there might be a broken pipe underneath this house. But it's okay because we're just going to laugh.
Well, we're going to laugh. And also, that's not our house, so we're good.
Most importantly.
If that would have happened in the new house, then I'd be having
we'd be devastated.
I would have an existential crisis. But this has happened to someone else's house that we've taken care of, like in a really good way.
Absolutely.
But if the pipe is bursting, you got to lay down the pipe.
Yeah.
Right, babe?
Right.
Like if you don't do it right, it's going to break in the house. That's what I think
Correct.
happens.
And just did paperwork. I took Fiona out. And here I am. How was your day?
My day was good. I was really busy this morning, like incredibly busy.
Working from bed.
I was catching up on my sports. I'll be honest with you. It's just Carson Wentz wasn't doing really great for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's the quarterback there, and he finally got moved, and the Eagles played really well. So I was just, on top of everything, like the important stuff that happens in the world. So I was making sure Carson Wentz, was talked about properly everywhere. And after an hour of that, well, in between that, I was really worried about the pipes too.
Yeah, I could tell.
It took a while. So I was worried for a while having my breakfast and also watching the sports
And
shows like crazy.
not one point you got up to come see what was happening.
I'm pretty sure you're wrong, but I'm not going to go into your mistakes or anything like that.
Sure.
Because I'm not that type of guy,
You're not.
I
petty.
always take the high road. So, so after that happened, the people that clean our house, the beautiful people, our housekeepers that come clean the house, came over, and I was like, man, I need to let them work. Like, I can't be in their way.
You need to leave.
So I went to a hookah bar at 11 in the morning.
That you do every day.
Don't worry about that. So I went to a hookah bar at 11 in the morning because, I had to
Because you're
go.
classy.
Not only classy. Yes. Thank you for noticing. Mm-hmm. I'm not only classy. You have to know that I'm also really considerate. So I'm getting out of the way. So I got out of the way. I went to this hookah bar. Aside from smoking hookah and eating delicious Middle Eastern food, I also did all of my marketing plan for all of the companies and a schedule for all the videos.
In your little planner?
That's right, sweetie.
Yeah, you got a planner.
I got a plan. See, I can't do anything right. Even when I get a planner, it's wrong. So I did all of my plans. I got home. I finished those plans. I emailed everyone at every single company that I have to email because of Aileron. Mm-hmm. It's the holidays right now. If you sell alcohol, let me tell you something, guys. There's no time for fucking around. You just got to make sure that everything is right. So that was easy. It took me like 7 minutes. And after I was done, I just sat on the couch watching more sports.
Sounds like you had a great Monday.
My day's been busy.
Sounds like you had a really
Sorry,
easy
let
Monday.
me just unwind a little bit. There you go. Feeling much better.
Good.
So, talking about some stressful stuff, let's talk about moving because we've moved a lot. Belen and I have met when we met originally, we lived in the same building. And even then, we moved twice, I think, together,
so
right?
So we have moved a total of 7 times.
Yeah.
And this will be our 8th time in 13 years.
That's not bad. I feel like we can do
We've
better.
We've moved 5 times in 5 years, basically.
Okay, so don't I buy a lot of cars and I used to cycle through them really fast?
Yeah.
Why can't I also cycle through houses
really
because
fast? You don't do anything for the move.
I don't understand why. Hang on. I never ask you, hey, by the way, who's helping with the move? Who's not? Who's doing what?
Because I handle everything. I mean, this homeboy was in Sundance this year when we moved.
Here's the deal.
Legit.
Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about moving and let's talk
Yeah.
Let's talk about this in a different way. From all the times that you've been moving, how do you feel now about your move?
You mean us moving, not me?
Yeah. But specifically, I'm asking, how do you feel about this specific move now? Because, for example, we had a different year. We had a COVID year, and I feel like that really helped me knowing what I want.
For sure. So
compared to the first time
I think it's
to
two
now.
things. So when we moved out of our previous home that was much bigger,
Yeah.
we got rid of a lot of furniture for this new space we've been in. So that was great because first of all, I was like, holy shit, we have so much crap.
Yeah.
Because when you have so much space, it's natural instinct to want to fill it.
Yeah.
And we had stuff that literally we had from our first apartment, like just like a mug or stupid shit. And I was like, why do we still have this?
I know. I feel like a lot of people do that a lot more than they should.
Completely.
Right? We were hoarding some shit that not once I ever wondered, like, oh my God, where's this? Like, not once.
I know. So, with this new move coming up, it's definitely a different type of move. But I think us being in quarantine this year, it really kind of made us realize what we wanted.
Yeah.
What was important to us, and the space. I can't emphasize the space situation enough because our previous house was 8,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And had
by the way, I had a great time in that house and whatnot. But,
even though you were barely there.
But was that a little bit too big for two people?
Well,
for you?
First of all,
I love that Sergio's like,
yeah, he's like,
he's already like judging us. All right, I'm sorry, Sergio.
I remember when we were looking at the house, and I remember us having a conversation. Like, this is huge. Like, it had 11 bathrooms, you guys.
Not bad.
7 bedrooms.
We need more.
And you literally were like, the bathroom thing sold you. And literally. And I remember thinking, this is so big. Like, what the fuck are we going to do? And I will tell that.
Go on, sweetie. Go on.
Not. No.
Wow. Go on, sweetie, with your bullshit.
Well, you stop with your bullshit. How about that?
All right, fine.
So I remember thinking, like, how are we going to utilize this house? And I will say we definitely did utilize the house. Like, we had so many people stay with us. Our office was in the guest house.
Yeah.
We had epic parties. I loved hosting. But I remember when the last year we were there, you were not home. Like, you were gone 3 weeks out of every single month. So I was basically like a widow in this giant house by myself. And it was lonely and it was just so much maintenance. Like, it was crazy. And even though we kind of only used one section of the house, which was downstairs, you literally didn't go to like 2 rooms for like a year. Like, you didn't even know they were there.
That's where I noticed that we overdid it.
Because, it was excessive.
You know, as we go and as we grow, you want to try as much as you can, right? Like in this life, and without being excessive, obviously. So we went from living in apartments to living in a house to living in a bigger house, in a bigger house.
Every house got bigger,
until we got to that house, and we were like, "Damn, this is fucking crazy huge!" Like.
Yeah.
And to me, it's not so much about the money, because right now we have the ability to buy a crazy huge house. But instead, we want to stick to what we said because of what we're going to talk about right now. But man, that was a big lesson for me. I felt so stupid. Just like in quarantine, I felt so stupid that I would never go upstairs. Never, ever, 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 ever. I would never go to the back side of the house, like the other wing of the house.
And we didn't, like, I did more so than you, but you didn't even enjoy the backyard.
No.
Like, and it was such an epic backyard.
Yeah.
And we didn't grill and we didn't do all these things. Because,
Yeah.
like many things in life, you take things for granted. And we for sure did.
Yeah.
And, but it did teach us, like, okay, quarantine, we were like, shit. Like, the kitchen we currently have is just not ideal, the setup we would enjoy. And we're like, okay, the next house needs to have a dope kitchen.
But hang on. So let me just finish my idea so that we can get into what you're saying. So we go from that big ass house into the house that we had to find like in 2 weeks, because I had to come back from Saudi. I had to go to Mexico. And
you for sure had COVID. By the way.
Which, by the way, do you remember when we went to Saudi, how sick I was and on the plane? And I was dying, and they were like,
"Remember how you had to get the visa?"
You need to,
and he was like, he had to go to the what's it called?
To the embassy.
To the embassy.
Or the consulate, or whatever it was.
And you were blue.
I was dying. I was not feeling great. And listen, if it was not COVID, you don't want to get whatever I had before that. It was insane.
Yeah. It was last November.
Yeah. So, you know, we go from that house to a new house, which, listen, getting something smaller for me something we needed. Because it was really stupid to have all that space for nothing. Like, you're just paying for nothing. It's dumb.
Yeah.
And then it costs you more with the maintenance and the water and
oh my God,
everything.
the water
is
bill.
Just ridiculous, right? So from there, we moved to this house, and I was like, man, this house is really fucking tiny, but it is what it is for now while we buy our house. And quarantine started. And when quarantine started,
You started to thrive.
well, I started to, number one, really, really enjoy myself because they were like, Alejandro, you don't have to do anything but chill for 3 months. I was like, what?
It's his dream, his retirement.
Is this my birthday? What's going on right now? So when I was putting, like in house arrest with you, number one, I enjoyed myself a lot. I had a lot of fun with you. That was great.
Yeah.
And also with Fiona. I had a lot and
And
Fiona
Bella.
and Tata and
Yeah.
Bella. No, Bella didn't make it to quarantine, babe.
Oh yeah, it was just a
Bella
month
passed away in
before.
February, yeah.
Yeah. But you were
So-
home.
Huh?
You were home in
Well,
February.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, because everything started like, oh, we can't travel
Yeah.
because we had one final trip, remember, to Barcelona?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was nuts. So once I stayed at home, I really, really started to, let me start cooking, let me do this, let me do that. And I started to really understand what I wanted
And what you actually enjoyed.
and what I actually really enjoyed. And just looking back at all the houses that we've gotten, I've never felt more prepared than right now
Yeah.
to go into the house. And to me is, and this is the point that I was trying to make before. When we got the other house, and at the end of it, I was like, man, that was wasteful and stupid. When quarantine started, and I had all these cars just parked, and the road is collecting dust, and all these cars are just parked there, how stupid are you? Like me. How
Wow.
stupid am I? Why am I collecting these things that are collecting dust that no one gives a shit about, that I can't even go to a restaurant and be like, hey guys, look at me, I'm cool. Like, I felt really dumb.
Yeah.
And that really made me feel really good because I said, wow, I guess I don't need all these things to
many
make me
things.
so happy. Although, I'm not saying we're buying a fucking little 2x2 house. No one's saying that.
No.
But I know what's essential. I know what I need. I know what I can utilize 100% to the fullest, and I know what'll be worth it. So, what's it been like to you from moving and having COVID and like the move that we're doing now?
Well, I think if for me and hopefully for a lot of people, what quarantine has taught us is we actually need quite little.
Yeah.
And that so much of us have so much excessive shit that we don't need. So, that got more developed for me like as the months went on, and I realized, oh wow, I and this is silly, but it's like, oh, I don't need to get my nails done every single month. I don't need to do this every single week. And so with the house situation, it was kind of the same thing. I was like, actually I want a great backyard. I want a garden. And in our previous house, I never did it.
And yeah.
And why? We were there for 3 years. I could have totally done it. And I remember that, like, on my birthday, I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to plant all of our herbs, and I want to have a garden. And we started doing all these things that I have always longed for in our relationship that never really happened. Simple things like us going on walks, gardening, cooking. Like, you always traveled and you were gone, and then you were tired, and us being home, we kind of realized, oh wait, these are things we really enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's important to us to have a space that will bring us together as a family and do all of these things. And for me, what I've discovered is, and I think for you too, this has always been my truth. I just never paid that much, like I never put that attention into it, like the gardening, like being outside and doing all these things that bring me so much joy. It's all these simple things that I didn't that weren't really the focal point because we were focused on all this other shit.
I feel like we're just distracted in general. Like, you're put out into the world, right? And there's all these billboards about like, you want this and you want that and you want that and you want that.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, and you start looking at all these billboards and you're like, I want that, I want that, I want that. But really, there's the you inside. I know that you're saying your truth, but there's really the you inside that's like, nah, man, I just want this. But we're so distracted by the other shit.
100%, but 100%.
And
But
this time around, we had no choice but to listen to ourselves. 'Cause we
exactly,
were like,
and that's what I'm getting at. And
Yeah.
that's when I was like, okay, I need to have a backyard that I can have garden and my fucking chickens that I've been wanting for like 5 years. But
I guess we're getting chickens.
But it was that I was like, I just want a cozy family room and our kitchen and things that bring me joy and make me feel alive. And
Yeah.
that's really is being outdoors, being with you, being active with Fiona, and not all the dumb bullshit of like all my excessive clothing and my handbags and my shoes. And like, I love all of that, and it's beautiful, and it's part of who I am and my career. But it's like your cars; it was just collecting dust.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let me make some sweatsuits. Let me make some dope sweatsuits. And I did that and focused on that. And I feel like this move that we're about to embark on is going to be a whole new chapter and so exciting because it's taken us 13 years to really figure out what is really important to us. You know?
What would you say is important in your new house? Like, what do you want out of that place? What is that perfect scenario in your head?
To customize it.
No, but to customize what? Like, for example, in my scenario, and this is what I'm asking. In my scenario, I think the kitchen really became a key
focal
element.
point for
yeah,
you.
Yeah. Because especially from coming from Bridal, that was such a nice kitchen. It was beautiful. The house that we had before, and it was
a
huge.
Farmhouse.
I never used it. Like, we did a couple baking bakes, and like, who gives a shit?
He
like,
didn't know there was 2 dishwashers for 30 years.
I had no idea. No idea. Because
He once FaceTimed me with Rodrigo and asked me where the bowls were, you guys. I was in San Francisco. I was like, how do you get through life?
No one knows. No one knows, but that's the truth. So to me, after going to Bridal, not paying attention to the kitchen, and then being left alone, and then was like, all right, so what are you gonna do, Alejandro, to be creative and be better at something? And I was like, cooking.
Yeah.
And cooking was my thing, and I really like cooking now. And I want to do it more. I just want to have like the proper space and materials, because also I got cheap right now, and I don't want to fucking spend money in buying all these brand new pots. Yeah, like we'll do it when we get to the house. I want to be able to experience that. So to me, it's a big key point to have a really nice kitchen.
Yeah.
Another big key point to me is the bathroom.
I know what it is.
The bathroom.
It's the bathroom.
I love my bathrooms. I love my shower. I love like that room as a whole. That's one room when you're vulnerable, guys. Come on, you're naked. You're walking around looking at your.
He takes his like 30-minute
sad
showers.
dong. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, it's got to have a nice shower that's customized. It's got to have some space in the bathroom, and the bathroom's got to be like left alone, like separate from everything. Because in the house that we're in right now,
we'll do a video and show like our current bathroom and house and stuff before we leave.
It's actually quite
tragic.
sad.
It's pretty tragic.
It's like a little hose that just like.
Yeah.
It just sprays me a little bit. So the bathroom is another one. The garage.
Yeah, the garage is important to you.
So I always thought I wanted like a 20-car garage, whatnot. After quarantine, I learned I just want to be efficient. I want to have like my guilty pleasure car, and then I'm going to have my daily. That's it. And then you have your car. Because the thing is, I get to go and drive every single car I want. We're very lucky. I'm very fortunate in that regard.
Yeah.
I don't need to hoard cars anymore. I feel like I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not a baby. I'd rather have a nice house than have 30 billion cars. Like, it's fucking stupid. So I don't want to be like a child anymore. And I feel the same way about the house. I don't need 30 rooms. I need the rooms that I need.
Yeah.
So I need a nice garage, a 3-car garage that I can enjoy, and like a nice enough driveway to park the cars. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like, because I like to stare at them. I like to take pictures. I like to go out. I like to make videos on them.
It brings you joy.
Exactly. That. I also need a big backyard. You
have a lot of demands.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't care so much about the house being big. I care more about the backyard being huge. And the reason why I need a huge backyard is, just like you're saying, I really like gardening. And I actually have like an insane like muscle memory when it comes to gardening.
He has a green thumb, guys.
Like, I legitimately, Belen's like, I'm doing this. I'm like, wait, you're doing it wrong.
She had like flashbacks to his childhood.
How do you know? I was like, I don't know, but I know this. And then I just started putting the seeds. Everything grew. Like, I really like that. I love animals. You know that. I want Tata to have a beautiful house.
My new to run.
Well, Nu's going to be able to run up and down. I want beautiful landscaping. I want nice plants. That really makes me happy. Like, being able to see all this life around me makes me really happy. And
of course, your barbecue station, because now you like to grill.
Well, I like outside. Outdoors barbecue is really important. Like a nice pool deck area to chill with people and talk to everybody. That puts me in a great mood. So I needed that. And also a decent enough common area for the family, for us to be able to watch TV and the stuff that we enjoy. Because we make a lot of content, digital content that, we like to play on TV. I like to watch. I like... to me, that's important.
The cozy room.
And let me just say heated floors, because I'm a dick now.
Oh, 100% heated floors.
So those are my priority lists.
Yeah.
And then the rest I can live without. But that's been my evolution from COVID. Like, it really brought me to these things. Whereas before I thought I just needed more rooms for some reason. I needed a bigger, like, I don't know. Like, it didn't have a structure. My thought didn't have a structure.
Yeah.
So what about you?
I agree. The kitchen. like, I can't wait to finally like kind of like build or like restructure the kitchen.
Let me just tell you this. I can't wait to not hit myself
Well,
in the
that
head
too.
in our
Yeah,
kitchen
the
right now.
current hood of above the oven was made for a very short person.
So we had to put like little plastic things, the
Like
ones
child-proof.
we had to childproof it because I keep banging my head on it, and at some point I thought I was going to get a concussion during quarantine. But anyways, I'm sorry, baby. So kitchen.
Kitchen for sure. I can't wait to have an incredible gym with my Pilates reformer that I have dreamed about for a decade.
Yeah.
That is going to be a space that I can't wait to do. And the garden, like I want to have like a garden house. So we've been watching a lot of HGTV, you guys. Like we're obsessed.
We have. And by the way, there's some shows that are really good and some shows that are really over the top. There was one where, because Belen and I are looking at prices, like how much money we have, because we want to put this house and really make it bowlerific to our standards. And so we're looking at what type of floors we like, what type of this, and she's got a great eye. So whatever it is, she's going to make it work no matter what. But we're also getting ideas. And we're watching these shows where the guy goes, our budget's 650 grand. And I'm like, man, you're going to have to buy like a house made out of paper just based on where we live, right?
Yeah, of course.
You're going to have to buy a house made out of paper. And then you see these guys like in Vegas or in other places buying these huge houses that need all of the work in the world. So the house is like 400 grand and the guy comes in and puts like 120, 150 and it changes everything.
It's insane. It's fascinating.
And I watched those shows. I was like, man, babe, we're going to be able to do all this shit. And then I
Yeah.
watched another show.
Well, this one wasn't on HGTV. This was on Netflix.
Well, apparently Netflix has
A way bigger budget.
A way bigger budget than, and the people that are in Netflix have way bigger budgets because they go and this guy's like, yeah, I want to redo my kitchen. I'm like, oh, he's just redoing his kitchen, like just blowing up a wall and putting like 5 things. It was $70-something thousand to do his kitchen. I was like, babe, never
He
mind.
started sweating. He was like,
I was like, we're
not doing anything.
We're not doing anything.
And then I was like, hang on, let me put on Fixer Upper. And that's where we saw this. But in one of the episodes of Fixer Upper, they build this gorgeous casita for their garden. And we were like, oh my God, we have to do that. Like, it's just, there's something very rewarding about gardening, as you know. And you see everything grow and then you cook it and you make it. And there's just so much pride and it's so much more delicious.
Yeah.
And it really keeps you healthy.
Yeah.
Your allergies.
It helps you with your allergies, guys, because
Yeah.
if you're eating from whatever's around you, you're building anti-allergenics
Yeah.
from the plants because the mushrooms build them. I don't know if that's a real word or not, but it's a real science fact.
No, for real. And then, I mean, of course, I'm excited to build the closet.
Oh, yeah.
So we have, it's an empty space basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, because I've learned having a lot of closets, what I need and what I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to like how you are about the garage, I am about the closet. And of course the bathroom, but I mean, I'm excited about it all.
As you should. As you should. I'm really excited too. So if you guys are looking for a house, just make sure that you know yourselves really well before you buy a house. 'Cause
Totally.
It'll show. That I think is the biggest tip that I have. 2020 Alejandro was really wise. So wise, my God. He's telling you guys, really get to know yourself and then buy your house. Don't do it the other way around.
I think too, what I've learned is over the years that we've bought in houses, we've rented houses, is don't be so close-minded. And I'm for sure guilty of this. But don't be like, I have to be 5 minutes from here, 10 minutes from there. Like there has to be sacrifices. That's going to be give and take.
Like any relationship.
Like anything. So if your dream house, if your dream is to have, I don't know, a pool, and that means you have to live 20 minutes outside of the city, then figure out what your priorities are. Like you can't, if you can't have it all like you wanted to, maybe at that point or stage in your life, that's okay. Work towards it, but be open-minded. Like what's more important to you? And I think us doing this move, like we've been very open-minded, and as we've grown in the other houses, it's been like, oh, why was I so rigid? Who cares? That wasn't important. This, that, whatever. Now I'm like, I know what I want.
Yeah, because even
I'm willing to know what I'm going to sacrifice, which we're really lucky because we're not sacrificing anything really in this house. I mean, there's different things happening, but that would be my tip, to be open-minded and not be like rigid with like, it has to be a mile from like my friends or my mom or the store. Like,
I agree.
It's all good.
A lot of people miss out on a lot of really good shit because of that. Like we did for a long time living in the city where we were like, we want to be in the middle of everything.
Which, by the way, we were such losers because we never went anywhere. We
Idiots.
always stayed home with our dogs.
We're so. I'm not even gonna say this. And
It's true.
but it's true. So that's our 2020 advice on house hunting. Now, let's move on to the biggest things you can't stand about me or me about
I want
you.
you to go first because mine's way
And-
longer.
and then we'll ask at the end of everything, is it okay to change a person or should you accept a person?
Yeah.
So number one, I think it's really important to know that
Are you nervous? You look nervous.
well, I'm petrified always. Always, just so you all know. That's what being in a
That's
happy
what
marriage
is.
That's what being in a happy marriage is like. Just being terrified
Everyone wants to know the secret.
of your of your loved one. So I think to me I want to also explain to everybody and for everybody to think about this. You're never going to find the person that's just going to be 10 out of 10.
Of course.
Like with all
course
of
not.
your because then you don't even know yourself that much to begin with. Not you, but like a regular person
No,
to
of
know
course.
like, oh, this is what I like. Like we told you. We thought we wanted all these things in a house, and then once you're sitting down and really getting to know you, you get to realize, oh my God, I am completely different from when I thought.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing here. A lot of people go
Absolutely.
into a relationship with the expectation of it'll be perfect like this or like that. And the reality is, and wouldn't you agree, that you would have to make sacrifices to the point where you're okay with them? Like, he does this, but I'm fine with it, right?
Listen, first of all, any relationship, there's compromises. Like that is a relationship and marriage. Like there always got to be a compromise.
That's right. That's right. So I'm going to start with mine.
Please.
The biggest pet peeves I have about you.
I've never heard
And,
this, by the way.
If I accept it or will change it. Yeah, you do. I
Okay.
just don't tell you I hate it. I just tell you, can you do something about it?
I know a couple of them.
Couple. Here's number one. The way you smell. No, I'm just kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. You should have seen her face. Oh my God, guys, I'm terrified. No. The way you burp at night. No, I'm just kidding.
It sounds like you're describing yourself.
Thank you. I didn't know that I had a smell problem. Well, Portuguese
Oh, your
showers.
Portuguese
Okay,
shower.
fine. Mine is that you want things done in a certain time.
Yeah.
Like that.
I do it.
Like, yeah, like you do it. Like, we're finishing dinner. Get up and do the dishes. Like, oh, can I just sit here and watch TV for another 2 hours and just, no, you got to do it right now. But at the same time, I like that because otherwise I'd be a fucking mess.
Yeah.
So my list is short, sweetie. It's that and also the other thing that, but you changed that. You used to message me a lot during the day when I was busy doing movies.
Oh, no, I don't. No, I don't text you.
And it would drive me nuts. I was like, man, I'm fucking having a meeting with like 80 people. And it's like, why are you not answering? I was like, God.
I missed my sweetie.
Well, I miss my sweetie too, but that was ridiculous.
I don't even remember that.
You didn't do that. You don't do that anymore.
Well, I'm always with you also.
That's true. I feel like, by the way, I feel like this year you haven't texted me much. But
By the way, it's also growth in our relationship. Like the
Yeah.
first couple of years, you're like insecure and you're navigating and all that.
So what about you? What about me?
I thought you were going to say something else.
What?
How like I travel.
How you travel?
Yeah, like
What?
you don't like how how I have an itinerary and stuff.
That actually I'm gonna go with that too. I don't like to go somewhere with a plan.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason why is you'll get really disappointed if you do have a plan. Like
Yeah.
you want to go somewhere and play it as you go. Because what if the first night, let's say that you go 3 days to Vegas. I'm just putting
My
Vegas as
worst
an example.
nightmare,
I
but
understand,
yeah.
me too. You go 3 days to Vegas. The first day you plan like, we're going to have dinner at this hotel and that's a really important dinner for me because of this. And then the next day we're going to go to the pool in the morning and then at night we're going to go to this other place, right? Which is totally not us, but let's just say that's the case. You get to Vegas and then you feel sick and you can go to that.
I can go to the day party.
And you don't go to that dinner, right? And then to the day party. Then you're like, start to get flustered about like, nothing is going well for me in your fucking vacation, which is why I don't like it. I also don't like to go on vacation somewhere to relax and think that I need to do stuff.
So hopefully you agree. I've completely changed that now when we travel because you were vocal about it.
And
But I was I'm a very type A person. I said this in the last podcast. I'm an Aries. I'm very I like knowing what I'm doing. That's how I've always traveled. But as I've grown, I realized, oh shit, we're going to Cabo. Like maybe I should chill the fuck out and like lay by the pool, which is very hard for me to do.
So you realized Alejandro was right.
I was like, oh, I guess being lazy is cool. But I have adjusted when we travel. Like even like the last time we went to Rome, I was like, listen, there's one restaurant I want to go to.
Yeah.
And you were like, cool. But before I was like, okay, we're waking up at 8. At 8:45, we're doing this.
Yeah.
At 9 p.m., you're doing this.
Yeah. That was exhausting.
Yeah. But I listened.
We had a great time in Spain, for example.
We did, but we were also there like.
I know. 2 days.
So, literally.
2 or 3 days. Yeah. What about you, sweetie? Why
Well,
don't you
my
start?
list is for
Oh my
sure
God,
longer.
guys, get ready and take out.
You know what? Everyone pour yourself a glass of wine.
Why don't you take it easy?
Settle in.
Shut of aileron. Go ahead, sweetie.
Okay. Well, I would say one of the ones that drives me really insane
Oh boy, one of the ones.
is you leave things for the last minute.
That's
And
not true.
It burns my soul because I am such a planner. And like, a perfect example is like the airport situation. Like, let's say we're going on a flight. He knows we're leaving at 8 a.m. Sergio's like looking at me. So we're leaving at 8 a.m. And he knows, obviously, in the morning, there's things that like need to get done. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it the night before. Instead, you wake up rushed, you're running late, and you have to get all these things done instead of just like giving yourself the proper amount of time to do it. And then you get flustered, then you get like all agitated, and then you're a grump.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My biggest problem is I can't set up my bong at night to be ready for the morning because at night I use it before going to sleep.
That is not the reference.
So I need to go grab my bong, clean it, put it in the car so that I can get to the airport and just look at it while we're at the airport and then getting the flight. But also my bathroom key. I'm gonna need all my bathroom stuff in the morning. What do you want me to do with the bathroom stuff?
You know what I'm talking about. Like you can be very disorganized and you get super flustered, and instead if you just like allocated an additional 15 minutes, your life would run smoother. So
that is ridiculous.
So that drives me really crazy because I'm so opposite.
Okay.
You can be very messy. Like you're like a squirrel, and he leaves me these little piles everywhere.
Of what?
Everything. Like he's like a kid. You walk in, you like throw your backpack, your hat, your shoes, the keys. He'll leave his watch and his ring in the most Sergio's chuckling in the most random places. This goes back to being disorganized. Like he would lose his credit card like once a week. He'd be like, have you seen my keys? Have you seen my credit card? Have you seen this? Like
not anymore though.
Because you've been home. Because you've been home for 9 months.
I don't think so. No, because I've been traveling so much, and traveling, unfortunately, has made me be responsible.
So that like, and it kind of ties in with you just being like last minute, and that really, really, really grinds my gears.
Okay.
And I think I'll leave it at those 3 that are kind of all the same.
I don't know. I think the Portuguese shower also bothers you.
No, it's not really a thing.
Really? Because man, whenever I'm like, all right, babe, I'm just going to take a Portuguese shower. She's like, don't be disgusting.
That's not really like a pet peeve. You do that like every blue moon, and it only started with quarantine.
Well, I'm clean. I haven't been sweating a lot.
But you're very clean. Like that. It's not that. It's more like you leave me little piles. But you leave a task for the very last minute, and I'm so opposite.
Yeah.
And that like it's a massive pet peeve that drives me insane.
All right, so would you say that you have to change the person that you love, like Oprah says in all of her magazines and every like Cosmo, like how to give your guy a blow? No, wait,
you're reading the wrong.
That's
magazine.
a different magazine.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. I don't read magazines, to be honest with you guys. It's been a while. Digital has taken over. Would you change your other, or would you accept him as he is?
So I don't think you listen. Of course, people can change, right? My advice, and it took me like 7 years into our relationship to learn this, is to adapt. So I've adapted to you, and I have gently nudged you to like be aware of these things that bother me, and for you to try and be aware of them. Just how you said to me about the traveling. At first, I took it so defensively because I was like, I'm planning this for us, and I'm doing all this work, and I'm doing all this research, and like this motherfucker is telling me like this is his worst nightmare. But I listened to you, and I was like, okay, I looked at it from your point of view, and now I adjusted myself. So I don't think you should change somebody. if there's something genuine that you really don't like about someone, then that you need to reflect on you. But these are things that I have been able to adapt with you and like gently nudged you to be like, hey, these things, I need you to be aware of them.
Yeah.
Because they're driving me insane.
I actually don't think you're going to change the person. I think it's more of there are certain things that I'm fine with me not liking
Yeah.
that you do, right? But I know at some point you will either see the light or I'll see the light on the point. And that's mostly what happens. Like there's
100%.
there's not one thing that I look at Belen, I'm like because how many couple friends do we have that first of all are miserable in their marriage,
For sure.
but they do it because they want to change everything about the other person that they're with.
Yeah.
Like the couple that's always yelling at each other because the dude's fat.
Right.
Like you met him like that. He was not skinny ever.
Yeah.
Why are you always on his case about being on a diet?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that like, I understand he's for his own benefit and whatnot, but the dude was always like that.
Yeah.
And he's never, like, being an athletic dude, he's never, like, any of that.
It's not who he is.
Why is she like that? Like, I feel like that's when you're destined.
That's such a deeper level. I mean, there's clearly a lot of stuff wrong with her that she's projecting onto, like, the relationship.
But that's what I'm saying. So just know, guys, because it feels like it's someone else's, because I think this is the biggest problem for those people.
Yeah.
They legitimately see those problems that they have as the other person's problem.
Instead of realizing it's themselves.
That's right.
Yeah.
100%, right?
Yeah.
So don't fall for that trap. I don't think you're going to have to change. Whoever you really like, you can't change. There might be some things that you're going to be willing to just put up with. Like, again, it's that give and take in that relationship.
It's a compromise, of course.
It's a compromise. But in that give and take, those like little things that bother you will change eventually, whether you'll realize yourself, oh, I see why she likes to do this the way she does, or she will realize, oh, I understand, like with us.
100%. And
Yeah.
I think it's also accepting. Like, I remember it took me, like, honestly, like 6 years to really accept this about you.
Oh my God, what?
Like, and you've said this to me all the time. Like,
These are new, Sergio. So you know, our marriage might end right now. Go ahead,
I'm
babe.
all handing the divorce papers.
ahead.
I'm all. You've told me so many times, I cannot read your mind. Like, just tell me what you need or what you want, because like
and how you like it.
because you're
No, like
because
how you like that thing to be. Oh my God, no, that's worse. How do you expect that thing to unfold?
yeah, because you're just going to be disappointed. And for literally like the first 5 or 6 years, I remember just always thinking like, why isn't he like planning this for us, or like being like, hey babe, like let's go for a walk, or like I planned this, I planned that, like. And then I was like, well, it's probably because I'm the planner in the relationship and you are better at it, meaning me.
Yeah.
But I held on to this and I had so much like resentment in me because I was like, he doesn't do, like, why can't he just think of something to do for me?
Yeah, because in a perfect world, the way they sell you a couple, like the guy's going to do all these things and the girl's going to do all these things, and it's a fairy tale romance, and that's what the instructions were, right?
And
so that's what you had imprinted in your head.
And because let's say I would do those things for you, I'm like, why isn't he reciprocating it for me? And my love language is acts of service.
Yeah.
Alejandro's is words of affirmation and touch, if anyone wanted to know.
Is it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I finally kind of like was like, instead of being so like kind of resentful, I decided, okay, I'm going to be proactive. I'm just going to tell him like, hey, this is the plan. This is what we're doing. And if there were times where I needed you to do it, I'd be like, hey, like it'd be nice if you planned a date night.
Yeah.
And I'd put it on your radar, and you would always make it the same reservation at the same restaurant, but it was fine. It was always at Cicconi's.
I'm creative.
Yeah. But I accepted that instead of it honestly would like, I'd lose sleep over it for so many years. I was so like, just like, I didn't understand. And then when I finally communicated it to you, because you told me like, just
tell me.
And because I'm like, why can't you just read my mind?
Yeah, it's kind of a fucking impossible, by the way.
But I accepted it. Do you know what I mean?
To the 3 women listening to this podcast.
There's more. But I think adjusting and accepting.
I agree.
Is 2 huge things. And just knowing if it's a huge thing, like let's say you were a smoker and you weren't going to change that, like maybe that would be a deal breaker for me. You know what I mean? Like that, I don't want to be around that, or whatever it would be.
Whatever thing that you really don't like.
And then it's not about changing yourself, but it's like I said, it's the adjusting, because you love this person and you want to work it out, and you want to build a life with this person. And obviously these are really stupid shit that our pet peeves are. It's nothing crazy.
But a lot of people, those are like the deal breakers, you know?
I know,
and
of
that's
course.
why I like to talk about it. So from another do and don't and another pet peeve to another, a thing that I was really bad in our relationship was, and still is, I don't want to say I'm bad. I just have my own style. How about that? I have my own style.
It's bad.
And that is gifting. I do my own thing in the holidays, your birthday, all of that stuff.
Let me say, you're a great gift giver.
Okay.
I
always know I was a great giver.
Forward to my gifts from you every year, because I don't like to be like, here, this is what I want. I'll be like, oh, I really like these things, but I don't have any elements of surprise really in my life, because I am such a planner that I always look forward to your gifts, because it's something that like I'm like, oh my God, what do you get me?
That's right.
Because you have great taste.
That's right. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, this is the first time I'm hearing this.
That's
the first
not
time
true.
ever.
I've told you.
For the first time ever, my wife just gave me a compliment. Just so you know, I waited years and years for this.
So ridiculous.
We're actually going to end the show on that note. No. Oh man, so it's no secret, I'm a last minute shopper. That's what I do.
He goes on Christmas Eve and he gets my gift. And
hang on. Before you're gonna get your chance at telling everybody how terrible I am at doing this.
sabotage you.
But the reality is, I'm a last minute guy. I don't need to think about your gift or your anything. Like, let me just give it to you the day before. I'm not a creative person that can do like one of those like, ooh, they like this, and then they create a couch and it smells like that. And I'm not a creative guy. Clearly, by my example with the couch, because no woman wants a couch that smells like that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I just don't have that creativity. So what is it like dealing with someone like me? Because you're completely the opposite. You're someone who really plans thoughtful presents, and it's amazing at giving them, and like you get it done like months before. What is it like to deal with?
For me, gifting, it's the Olympics. Like, it's a sport for me. So it does really bother me. Like, it makes me feel that it's last minute, that I'm not a thought. And you just go and get it. But I know it's not like that, but that's how it comes off.
Of course.
Because you're like, oh, it's 7 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Let me go get her gift. Where for me, I plan months ahead. I probably made a Pinterest board and a mood board.
Wow.
And I've had his gift since October, you guys, for this year. Like, I get it like 2 to 3 months in advance.
Yeah, me too.
But that's me. And I'm a planner.
Yeah.
So I know on Christmas Eve, you're like, or Christmas Eve during the day, you're like all flustered, and he's like, I have to go run an errand. I'm like, I know where you're going. And then you're like, you'll text me, you're like, which CVS should I go to? And I'm like, let me guess, you're getting my Christmas card.
Well, do you want a Christmas card or not? I need to go to the CVS that's open at midnight.
That is not my jam. I'm not a last minute person. I like to have everything prior.
What are your tips to shop for someone who you love? Right. What's an easy way of getting into, like, show me, teach me how to do it. Like, how do you buy someone a gift? How do you know, like, how do you go about it? From your parents to your husband to your, siblings, whatever.
I think some great tips are finding out, like, maybe their hobbies, what they like doing. If there's a certain product that they really like, a designer that they really like. I also, for me personally, really like giving people gifts of items that I like. So for instance, like my favorite lotion, my favorite like makeup line, my favorite laundry detergent, because that's how old and boring I am. Oh. But I think that is a really thoughtful and curated gift that is effort, instead of just going to Neiman Marcus and buying a $100, $200 mindless gift. Now, does that make sense? So for instance, like my dad loves wine.
Yeah.
So he has everything under the sun, but I will spend some time researching maybe the latest bottle opener, or like a cooler, or I don't know, a cool new book that somebody wrote. And I know he'll genuinely enjoy it.
And appreciate it.
So for you, I would be like, oh, well, maybe there's like a new bong I could get him, or customize it, or like Nike shoes. And I would customize like whatever designs that you like on it.
So let me understand this. You're saying that for someone, you need to really know them well. Understand what.
Well, if it's for your significant other or your parent,
I bet you do, right? So, for example, you're saying that there's a lot of things that you really love that you gift others.
Yeah.
So, if I give you this Christmas the best weed I've ever smoked,
But see, let me stop you there. You know I don't like weed.
don't stop me right there, sweetie. Why can you just take the weed and then I'll smoke it?
Because you know I don't like weed.
All right, I'm just trying to buy myself weed for Christmas, I guess.
So why would you gift me something that you know I generally won't enjoy?
I didn't know that. You know, it's one of my favorite products.
Your favorite products.
What I'm saying is, I'm making sure that I understand what you're saying. So now, weed's eliminated from the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also helpful, like
What else?
that, like for instance, I could send you an email and be like, "Hey, I like these 5 things," just kind of giving you ideas. And this is for any couple, like,
Yeah.
you
No
know,
shame in that.
no, like, hey, I really like these workout shoes. I really like these earrings, and I really want to try this new face mask.
Yeah.
And you give somebody a couple options so that you don't necessarily have to buy them any of those items, but you get ideas. You can get creative and be like, oh, well, she said she did want some new workout shoes, so maybe I'll get her these Adidas instead of whatever.
I 100% agree with you. I feel like it's fine and to tell the other person, like, look around this ballpark and give them an idea if they're
so
not
that they're
creative.
not disappointed, and then they're stuck with this gift, and they're like, cool, you spent all this money.
Oh, because let me tell you guys.
Because we have a story about that.
Oh, I have a story about that, all right. The first, couple of Christmases.
It was
Belen
our
and
first
I-
Christmas.
No, it was the second.
It was the first Christmas.
Because we had a house already.
We were in the apartment.
Really? With the computer?
And the Chanel shoes. Babe, I remember
All right.
everything. I'm like
So
an
number one,
encyclopedia.
let me tell you this. I don't remember the Chanel shoes. This is what I remember.
They were
Hang on.
tan,
Hang on.
black toe.
Hang on. I don't remember that. This is what I remember. I remember that Belen needed a computer desperately. Desperately. So here I am. I'm Alejandro. I'm terrible at gifting. But she needs a fucking computer. And I know about computers. I know what to get her. This is going to be fucking great. So comes Christmas time, and I gave her a computer. She absolutely
I was devastated. I was like, he got me
hated
an
it.
electronic for Christmas. Our first Christmas, he got me an electronic.
And I couldn't believe it. Like, we returned it and got you shoes or something.
They were the same price as the laptop. You guys, I was 23. I was a moron.
Hang on. And by the way, what do you think happened a month later?
I was like, I need the computer.
So I had to buy the computer anyway.
That was the only time.
What about the digital camera?
Oh, that was fucked up. You did that on purpose.
You guys understand what I'm saying?
He did that on purpose.
This is a woman that
what he
likes to
did.
take pictures all the time, take selfies and all this shit. I'm like, I got the perfect gift for her. Instead of her Kodak bullshit camera, here's a digital camera.
I wasn't using a Kodak. You didn't meet me in the fucking 90s or the 80s. Anyways,
I need
he
to
was really
exaggerate
fucked
to
up
make a
because he
point.
gave me a really fucked up card. And then you were like, here's your camera. And then you're like, oh, wait, I got you this too. And I was like, why? Like, you wanted to see me tortured. But anyways, to go back
Well,
to
after
the
my first
gifting,
Christmas nightmare.
to go back to the gifting, I do want to say this. We are in a pandemic. And this is a tip for you, but it's a tip for our listeners.
Here you go. Let me know, sweetie. I got my pen right here.
Well, I'm just saying this because I obviously have a business and I ship. And because Christmas is around the corner, anyone who is listening to this, they should get their gifts online. If they're choosing to buy their gift online, that they need to get it done basically in the next 2 days, because like UPS, USPS, all those companies are like overwhelmed, and Christmas gifts will not arrive in time. I mean, we literally had to like give that disclosure on all of our businesses today. So
Wow.
that is just a pro tip, because a lot of people aren't actually going to stores to shop. You can go to stores, but if you wanted to stick to the online route, do that. Also, another pro tip, make sure you sign up for the newsletters. You get a discount. So
That is
if you're
true.
buying your significant other, your friends or your mom or whoever, sign up for that newsletter. You get a 10 to 15% off usually, and that can save you some money. But just to plan ahead, because Christmas is legitimately next week.
Wow. Well, those are great tips. And honestly, I wrote down buy online shit now.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to send you an email of a couple of things I have my eye on.
I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna ignore this note until this last very minute, like I always do.
I'm honestly,
and then purchase it.
I'm really like, for real, I'm concerned this year with you because you haven't been to a mall or a store this entire year.
There's a pandemic going on.
Well,
so I have a pretty good excuse
No,
for not
they're
having a gift.
they're
no?
open. The malls are open.
Listen, Ivan sent me like a gift for my birthday and it came a little later.
No, my birthday gift was late this year.
Was I mad with Ivan? No. I was perfectly fine because I understand the situation. There's a pandemic going on. And I'm sure you will too, because you're a very wonderful,
Absolutely not.
beautiful, reasonable woman.
Nope.
strong, independent.
Shut up.
I think with that, we can end the show. This was Chats with Sweetie, episode number 2.
Chats with Sweetie.
We'll make that the intro.
That's
Hey,
going to be our jingle.
thank you so much, Sweetie, for your time. Thank you, Sergio, my second Sweetie, for your time. And thank you, everybody listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
I hope it was helpful.
Remember, hope that you can find us in Spotify, Apple, Google Cast, and all of the stuff.
That's all you.
Facebook, Instagram, and
Twitter?
every other platform, YouTube, every other platform we're on. Not on Twitter because they don't have
Is
long.
Twitter a thing? I don't know.
It is. But all right. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Take it easy. Chat, sweetie. Sweetie.
Chats with Sweetie.